Okay. I just gotta get into the tower, and I will be perfect if I say no. Okay, nope. You know, sometimes I wonder to myself, how do I keep getting into these situations? I mean, this happens way too often. No! Let's gather around the campfire. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Valheim, Legend of Grey. In episode 1, I made some good progress. I built this house, murdered lots of innocent animals, and beat the first boss in the game, Eikthyr. For beating Eikthyr, I received some of his antlers, which are going to be a focus point of this episode. Using them, I can make an antler pickaxe, which allows me to mine the first couple of ores in the game, copper and tin. As the title of this video suggests, the whole goal of today's episode is getting to the Bronze Age in terms of gear. Finding tin and copper is relatively easy, so that won't take very long. But to smelt them, I've also got to find some Surtling cores, which are only found in dungeons in the Black Forest. So I've certainly got some exploring to do. Now while I'm exploring, there are some other things I want to start collecting as well. And the main one is bones. I want as many bones as possible. And luckily those bones are also found in these dungeons. But first things first. I need a bit more storage before I go out collecting anything. Ah, much better. Hold on, I gotta go get some breakfast real quick. Alright, with breakfast taken care of, it's time to head out in search of today's items. Tin is extremely easy to find and very plentiful. It's located all along the coasts in the Black Forest biome and drops 3 or 4 pieces from each deposit. You know, I love the Black Forest in this game, but there is one downside. You're constantly being bombarded by these stupid freaking Grey Dwarves. So annoying. Now copper is usually found in some of the mossy rocks in the biome. Also pretty easy to find usually, and while plentiful, it's a lot more work to gather up, as you'll soon see. Now when mining copper, I always feel like it's best to set up a small camp for repairs and storage. Definitely storage, because copper drops so many pieces of stone, it's absurd. But it's definitely advisable to collect that stone for later too. Of course, before I could finish setting up my camp, I was rudely interrupted by the other pest of the Black Forest. A troll. Oh man, come on dude. I just got here. I am not ready to take on a troll yet. I just want my copper, man. Do I even have like enough arrows in my inventory to tell? Okay, oh. Not now, Grayling. Just go away. You're just an annoyance. I don't need you here. You're not gonna kill me. Oh. Okay. Easy now. This is actually going pretty well, I would say. A couple more arrows, and I think I've actually possibly got him. Grayling! Okay, now you're dead. Did you accomplish anything? Not at all. Okay, 2 more arrows. 1 more arrow should do it. Huh. Well, that went a lot better than I thought it was going to. So, back to building some storage. At this point, it was nearly nighttime, and the Black Forest gets pretty unbearable at night. However, I decided to stay and mine all of this copper instead of going home. Let's just jump into a time-lapse of this whole process and see how it goes. As I said, copper is a lot of work. Antler pickaxes constantly need repairing while mining the rocks. Grey Dwarves come in endless waves of annoyance. Stamina is always low. It's just not a good time in the early game. One thing I like to do is use an abundance of campfires while mining copper though. They keep you warm, which is better for stamina regeneration, especially at night. And they also scare away the Grey Dwarves, which is a lifesaver when you're out here trying to get an entire copper vein. I do want to point out that you can mine the ground all around the copper and then break the entire ore at once, but I didn't do it this time. I probably will next time, though. As night sank in, the campfires became much more important, especially considering I was getting lots of unwelcome visitors, such as shamans and Grey Dwarf brutes. Honestly, the fact that I survived this entire night without dying made me pretty happy. I was totally expecting to die and have to do a walk of shame back to my body in the morning, and somehow it did not happen. Once the ore vein was completely cleared out, it was time to make several trips back and forth from my house to transport all the goods. I'll be able to make a cart in the near future to make this a lot easier, but I need bronze bars first to make that happen. This right here, this walking back and forth and spending tons of time transporting ores, is exactly why I changed the portal settings when they added the world modifiers in. It's going to be a lifesaver as far as time goes. So I had managed to get all the copper and tin back home, and that meant it was dungeoneering time. So I ran out to the pouring rain in search of what I needed. Now here is where the bones come into play. As I mentioned earlier, I need a lot of bones, which can be used for upgrading armors and other items in-game. However, there's another reason that bones are important. Bones come from skeletons, obviously. And seeing a group of skeletons can mean there is a dungeon nearby, so it's important to look out for them. Unluckily, it didn't seem that luck was on my side. I searched and searched and searched the black forests I had been to, but all I found were some stupid grey dwarfs. One of them which was a 2-star and could probably one-shot me at this point. Oh yeah, and there were some shamans too. We were basically one troll away from the second weirdest party I've ever had in my life. Oh, come on. 2 shamans and a 2-star grey dwarf? Like, this game is just plain dirty at this point. Oh, and great. Great. More friends to join the Grey Dwarf train. Come on along! All aboard! I've got no stamina. It's raining. And, yeah, there's tons of enemies throwing rocks at me. I can hear all of them. Great. Good times. Alright. And so what I just need to... Ouch! Okay, I need to calm down. I need to think for a second. Oh my gosh. Oh! No! No, okay. Swim. Oh, 9 HP, 5 HP, 5 HP. I'm gonna drown, aren't I? I'm totally gonna drown, aren't I? Okay, no, wait. I think I can make this. 9 HP, I'm healing. Oh, I'm out of stamina. Okay. No, stop. Ah! One walk of shame later and I had my stuff back, but there were still no dungeons in sight. I came across some ruins that were now owned by some skeletons, one of which was a 1-star. Lovely. But here we can see something that I absolutely love about Valheim. The mobs interact with each other, as some factions are hostile towards each other. It really makes the world feel alive, and can also be a saving grace in a very sticky situation sometimes. One long night of exploration later, and I decided to go in a different direction. I had just barely made out a black forest on the map from where I flew in, and decided to go check it out. I ended up coming across this tiny little abandoned farming village, and after disposing of some grey dwarfs, I noticed some skeletons shooting at me, and I got very excited. These skeletons weren't in ruins, which meant there was a chance of a dungeon nearby. However, I was a bit disheartened to see that there were only 2 skellies, as a dungeon normally spawns 3 skeletons outside of it. Shortly after disposing of those 2 skeletons, however, I made a very pleasant discovery. A 3rd skeleton in the area. I immediately started looking for a dungeon, and out of the corner of my eye I saw it. Hidden behind some trees in the side of a hill was exactly what I wanted. Here, I made a very smart decision. I set up a temporary base inside the farming hut so that I could respawn here should I be forced to do another walk of shame. This is something that I oftentimes forget and then get very frustrated when I have to spend 20 minutes getting back to my loot. With that all taken care of, it was time to enter the burial chambers. Now, these dungeons are fairly easy to take out for the most part. Here, I bravely fought 3 skellies that attacked me and didn't use any cheese strats at all. And after a quick rest, headed back in. The 1-stars could potentially make this hard, but the thing to really look out for here was a spawner, as that could mean instant death at this point. Oh yeah, and speaking of death, oh hey, look at this loot. And there's the spawner. You see, spawners have a chance of spawning these guys, who can hit very hard and deal poison damage as well. Really dangerous stuff at this point. After taking out the spawner, it was time to claim the loot. 2 Surtling cores and some treasure. Unfortunately, I was going to need at least 10 Surtling cores to be efficient in my smithing, so another dungeon was needed at this point. Shortly after, I came across the location of the Elder, the second boss in Valheim. This was going to be handy next episode, and after cowering and bravely fighting dozens of Grey Dwarves, a mistake was made. You see, I happened on another ruined tower nearby, and yes, that's the one from the intro. And, yeah, just enjoy. Yeah, I survived that. Somehow. Eventually I made my way back to the tower where I rested for a bit to heal up and get my rested bonus back while the tower was being penetrated from all sides. And then I made my escape, continuing the search for another dungeon. Oh look! A dungeon! I immediately found 3 cores in this one, which is great, but still not enough. Finally, I found dungeon number 3, and the last one of the video, thankfully. This one contained enough cores to murder a troll. I couldn't even carry all the loot from this one, which is a great problem to have. After a successful desecration of my 3rd burial chamber, I returned to my hut for a good night's rest, and then made the trip home. With 15 total cores in my possession, I was able to make a charcoal kiln and 2 smelters, allowing me to finally use these copper and tin ores. After a night's rest, which speeds up all processes such as smelting, coal making, and even cooking, I collected my sweet ingots and made my first forge in the world, thus unlocking the ability to make bronze bars. And with this, the goal for this episode was achieved, and so it's time to wrap things up for today. In between episodes, I'll take care of smelting up all of these ores. Next time I'll be gearing up in full bronze to take on the big bad Elder of the Black Forest. It's going to be action-packed, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Oh, and of course smack that like button while you're at it. Thanks for watching, and bye.